What's good, gun family? Urban Gun Reviews, and today on the channel we just gonna have a discussion. And today's topic, which you probably read by the name of the video, is what to do in the case that you get pulled over by a police officer. Alright, now I wouldn't say that I'm an expert or a pro in this situation, but I could say coming up in Pittsburgh, I did a lot of dumb things. And I could say one of the dumbest things that I've ever done was ride around every day, every night with an illegal vehicle, knowing that I was gonna get pulled over. Alright, now let me give you a little backstory on this. This is 20 years ago. So things was different. The climate of the country and in cities and everything was different too. So take that into consideration as well. Growing up in Pittsburgh, I got pulled over at least. I've been pulled over in my life probably about 35, 40 times. And that's, give or take a few, but I'm pretty sure it's up there. You know what I mean? And that's nothing to brag about. I'm not saying it like as a badge of honor or nothing like that. I'm saying that me as a youngin', I've done a lot of dumb stuff. I used to have a Beretta, a Chevy Beretta, and it didn't have any, the dashboards, the wires got messed up when I put a stereo system in there. So my dashboard got messed up in the process, so I had no lights on my dashboard. I knew this. And my tail lights are connected to the dashboard, I guess. So when my dashboard lights was out, tail lights was out. So I basically knew when nightfall came, I needed to be in the house, because if I wasn't, I was gonna get pulled over because I had no tail lights. So me being a young, dumb, and full of cum, and chasing that P-Funk all the time, I took a lot of chances, and I, rode around the city all times of night, 11, 12, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, whatever. I rode around like this, and I got pulled over many a times in places I shouldn't have been doing the things that I was doing. Luckily, I never had gotten any major situations. I never got any big trouble, but that's just a little backstory, which kind of gives me a little I want to say knowledge of the situation. Now, since then, I've been pulled over probably 5, 6 times, and I learned over the years that most police officers are just as nervous as you are. And me personally, if you watch any of my other videos, my goal, I always say, for me and for that officer, is to make it home. I want to make it home to my family. So I just came up with a little small list of things that you should do. And it's really geared towards driving at night, but you can apply it during the day as well. Now, me being a guy who carries guns 365, 24/7, when I get pulled over, I want to make things easier on the officer. I know this is a highly stressful job. I know he's probably, or she's probably scared or nervous, and they don't know if they're going to make it home. This could be their last stop if they, if something goes left on this. I know this, not, that I have any experience, but I just know it from, having police officers as friends, talking to people, watching interviews or whatever. You know that it's a highly stressful job. My intention is not to make their job or this situation any more highly stressful. So what I do is, if I get pulled over at night, the first thing that I want to do, me personally, I'm turning on every light in my truck. So therefore, there's no misunderstanding about what I'm doing. If I'm moving this way, if I'm moving that way. Soon as I see myself getting pulled over, I turn on all the lights. Before I even stop, I'm turning on all the lights. Yes, they might look at you like, oh, why are you doing all this moving? Why are you turning on the lights? But it's for safety. And I'm turning on all the lights. So first thing you want to do is know where your lights are, how to turn them on. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be scrambling, doing this, doing that, because you don't know how to turn on your lights. So you should know how to turn on every light in your car. If you got to reach here to turn that one on, turn that one on. Or if there's a little thing, a little knob that you click and it lights up the whole car, figure it out. Before this, you should figure it out. You should know how to turn on all the lights in your car, in your vehicle. That's one. Number two, let's get you something like this. This is just a simple, small, I'm not gonna flip it around because it got my personal information in it, but I carry my insurance cards in here. I carry my registration in here. I carry all my important documents. I even got paperwork for, when COVID first hit and it was like, well, they're shutting down cities and you gotta have a reason to be out. I even got that in here saying that, I work, I'm an essential worker and I need to be out, you know what I mean? So I got that in here. I still got that in here. And so I keep all my important papers in here in my glove box. So if anything, I get pulled over, I can just reach in my glove box and pull this out. The only thing that I don't have in here that I need is my driver's license, because I keep that on my person. So I'm getting this out the glove box when I pull over. Boom. I'm getting this. I'll sit it on my dashboard. Boom. Put that on the dashboard. Get that out the way. I'm going to reach for my ID. And my goal is to try to hurry up and do this, not look suspicious, but to do this before the officer reaches my window. Therefore, I don't have to make any movements while the officer is standing next to me. Any, dark movements or anything that you wouldn't understand why I was moving that way. So I'm gonna grab my ID out of my pocket. I'm gonna boom, put it on the dashboard as well. Therefore, I got my identification. I got my my car information, all of that. I'll even put my my license to carry up on the dashboard. All of that stuff is on the dashboard. So therefore, that's out the way. Also, I'm a person that likes to ride with my gun on a magnet, or I keep it, right beside me when I'm in the car, because I know that it's harder for me to draw a gun from a holster position while I'm in the car. So I keep it, next to me to where it's easier to draw. So in that instance, know your state law. Know that if it's illegal to have your gun in the center console, or if it's illegal to have your gun on a magnet, I put my gun on my person at that time. Like I said, so I'm slipping my gun on me right then and there real quick, and boom. So by the time the officer comes up to my window, I already have my paperwork ready. I have my licenses ready. I have my gun where I need it to be. And I'm ready. My lights are on as well. And I'm ready to comply with anything that the officer needs me to comply with. My goal is to make it home. Point blank, period. So I've been in situations before where I've been pulled over and the cops seem a little jittery. I'm like, look here, officer, I'm not trying to tell you what your job is or how to do your job. If you need to handcuff me and take me and sit me on the curb or something to make yourself feel more comfortable, so be it. Because I know hopefully this eases him or her and I can make it home. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2", over 300 pounds. They look at me from the top. There's been times, like I said, I got pulled over a lot in Pittsburgh. There's been times where from the time I got, when somebody pulled me over, the first thing they said was, oh, I'm gonna have to handcuff you. You're a big man. And I was a teenager then, I was like 19, 20, whatever. I was, a little less weight, but I was a big dude. So they be like, I gotta handcuff you. Because I feel safe. And, at the time, even back then, I was ready to comply. Because I knew, for one, I was in the wrong. And I wanted to make it home. You know what I mean? So, oh, you want to handcuff me? Go ahead. You handcuff me, sit me on the curb, check out the car. I'm going home because I know ain't nothing in the car. Same thing that I do now. You know what I mean? Like, if you need to handcuff me to feel more comfortable, so be it. You know what I mean? If you need to call for backup, call for backup. Do whatever you need to do. I'm keeping my hands on the steering wheel. I'm going to announce to the officer, you know, when they pull up, they be like, well, you know, what's going on? I'm like, you know, whatever, you know, whatever the charge is, it's mostly gonna be speeding if I get pulled over, because I got a heavy foot. So, you know what I mean? We're gonna have our little discussion. They're gonna ask me where I'm going and whatnot, and then, you know, I'm going to disclose to the officer I have a loaded registered firearm in the vehicle. That right there scares the sugar honey iced tea out of a lot of cops. And from that point on, your conversation might turn. I've had it in situations where once I told the officer that, everything changed. The whole conversation, the tone of the conversation, everything changed. So you gotta be prepared for that. And I'm prepared for that. So I know when I say I got a loaded registered firearm in my car or on my person, that I gotta be prepared for that conversation to change. And that's fine. Like I said, if you need me to step out the car to feel more secure, so be it. I've had my gun taken from me, you know, and I know it's my right. I don't have to let them do it, but I want to make it home. I know my gun is legal. I know all of that. There's nothing you gonna find in my car, nothing dirty, nothing like that. So they took my gun, you know what I mean? Like took it out the vehicle. Because at this time, I didn't really know if it was legal or illegal to ride with it in the car. So I had it in between my seats. And this was a couple years ago, you know what I mean? Before I really even got into YouTube and doing gun videos. This was before that, way before that, like at least 10 years ago. And I kept it in between the seats. And I had a Smith & Wesson. Was it Smith & Wesson? It was a 45 ACP. Big boy, you know what I mean? And they was like, well, why you need this bigger gun? And all, you know, asked me all these questions. So they were like, well, do you mind if we take your gun out the vehicle because we feel more safe? It was one person at the time. And I was like, nah, go ahead, take it. You know what I mean? So even though I feel like it didn't have to go there, you didn't have to take my gun, because I know what I'm not going to do, they don't know that. And my goal is to make it home. You know what I mean? So I'm doing everything necessary to comply to go home. And I'm not saying this to you know, belittle certain people, because I know there's been videos, we've all seen videos where people have been complying and still got shot. So I'm not saying just because you comply, nothing will happen. I'm just saying that I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make it home. I can fight it afterwards. I can fight it when I get home. I'll fight it in court. But I will lose this battle every time in the streets. You'll lose. You know what I mean? So my objective is to go home. So I'm doing everything and anything possible to try to make this police officer feel as comfortable as possible. Hands on the steering wheel, like I said, all my information is ready to go. Let them know that I have a firearm. Lights are on, so there's no sudden movements. And you know, I'm yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. You know, I'm not gonna give you attitude. And people might think, oh, you just an Uncle Tom, or you just scared. You call it what you want to. But you know, I'll be 39 in like 2 months. You know what I mean? And I ain't got this old, you know what I mean? I ain't got to this far by doing stupid stuff when I'm around police officers. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot. Still a lot more to learn, but that's just me giving, you know, young people, old people, whoever, a little bit of game about being pulled over. And the situation is the same if you get pulled over in the daylight. You just really not turning on the lights. You know what I mean? But everything else applies, you know, because attitude just creates a more intense, uncomfortable situation. I'm not gonna give you attitude. I'm not gonna give you back talk. I'm gonna give you what you need so I can be on my way and you can be on your way. You know what I mean? And hopefully this becomes the narrative to where police officers are more comfortable, and us, and even, you know, as being a black man, be more comfortable with being pulled over. So everybody, I know I rambled on. I probably went a little longer than I really expected to, but I really thought about this video and I wanted to give y'all a little bit of information. So if y'all just retain a little bit of it and use it in your personal life, if it's just, you know, you getting something like this, just to put all your information in to be able to grab it and be ready. You know what I mean? And that's enough. You know, because that's one less thing that you have to worry about scrambling through a glove box trying to find your paperwork, or, you know, your car being dark at night and you going for, you know, trying to find all this paperwork, and boom, you know, something could happen. So let's just cut out any unnecessary stuff and get straight to what we need to get, you know, so we can make it back home to our families. But I'm getting a little hoarse, as you can hear. It's Urban Gun Reviews. If this video helps you or you just enjoy my content, let me know by clicking the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can do that easily by clicking on the AR-15 in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. If you're not following me on all my social media sites, all that information is in the description. And as always, gun family, stay blessed, stay strapped.